Never satisfied with myself more than like 15, 20 minutes a week. 20 minutes a week, I'll have a glass of wine, I'll put my feet up, I'll kick back, and then that little voice in the back of my head, it's like, are you doing everything you can do? Get up. Come on. The thing about stuff, though, as opposed to like goals, is like stuff, you could always just keep buying stuff and making money to buy stuff. And then you find yourself being one of those people that just does stuff for money because you want to buy the stuff. For me, the most important thing is the stuff that I put out if people like it. Yes. Like if I do a podcast, well, let's say if I do a UFC and I suck, if I stumble through something or I make a bad call or it's not, that be up for days. Same with a podcast. If I do a podcast that doesn't go well, if I do a set and the set doesn't go well, or I stumble through a joke, all I care about is the stuff that I do in terms of like progress. I focus all my progress on that. I'll distract myself with stuff, but like, look, this watch costs like $50 or something. I don't know. The only thing that means is your friends and your loved ones and what you're trying to do with your life. Everyone has a different personality. They have different interests, different things that they would be really satisfied pursuing. That's not encouraged. What's encouraged is go find a job. What's encouraged is go find some place that you can shove yourself into. Go find a square hole that you can stick your round peg. I knew one thing. I couldn't work like a regular job. Like I had to figure out something else because like there's the idea of, it was literally the idea of being in an office was like torture. Shave down the top and the bottom so you slide in with all this extra space on the sides and feel like for the rest of your life because you need a job, because you're in debt, because you have credit cards, because you have student loans, because that's what everybody does. And so you do it too. That's what's wrong. I just feel like people need inspiration and they need guidelines. And if as long as you could just start moving, just get action, like just movement. And the people that I know that get to do what they want to do for a living, it's not like their lives are completely happy. Everybody's going to face problems, no matter who you are. Wondering why other people's success or wondering why other people are successful is the refuge of losers.
Yes.
It's a loser mentality. It's a loser occupation. It's a loser practice because you're wondering why other people are successful. Like, who gives a it doesn't do any good. It's like, what is that old expression that jealousy is, it's a poison that does the opposite of its intended?
Oh, right.
It doesn't affect the other person at all, but it poisons yourself.
Yeah.
It wastes your energy and time. Your mind, you have a certain amount of bandwidth. This is why I don't read Instagram comments or Twitter comments or YouTube comments. Like, I don't have any time. If I read them, it's an accident. But to seek them out, and go, like, you have bandwidth. I don't spend time wondering why I hate things. Let's call it units. You have 100 units of bandwidth in your mind. So that means there's 100 units that you can spend on things you care about, or you could let your mind be occupied by some stupid Twitter feud that you're in with some idiot that you don't even know, and you could spend 30% of your Twitter bandwidth or your mind bandwidth. Maybe you're involved in some relationship with someone who's an idiot and you're arguing back and forth with them. Well, there's another 30% that's gone. Now you have 40% left. You have 40% for the things you love instead of 100%. But if you only concentrate on the things you care about that mean something to you and learn how to do that, like you were talking about meditation, like how you're saying when you stopped drinking, all of a sudden your career took off. You started doing well because you had more bandwidth. And you had less problems. This problem that you had that was rotting you away no longer existed. So now all of a sudden it frees up your time and you realize, oh my God, there's so many funny things that I could talk about and I have so much energy and I'm so healthy. For people that see someone who's a beast, who's done great things, you just assume that they're different than you.
Right.
But then you hear about your insecurities and your pitfalls and all the things that went wrong with you and you realize, those are the same things that go wrong with me. Like maybe I have that inside of me and I've just never summoned it. Well, there's purity in physical pursuits, right? Because it doesn't matter what your social status is. It doesn't matter how people perceive you. When it comes down to how long can you stay in that pool, when it comes down to how far can you run, when it comes down to how much can you push yourself past the part where you want to quit, how far can you keep going, what people think about you goes out the window. It's who are you right now?
That's right.
Who are you right now? Well, that is a big part of the story, is when you go over your childhood and, you know, your abusive father, and then having this great guy that was going to become your stepdad, and then he gets murdered. It's like right when you're about to get out of it, everything looks good, boom, and then he gets murdered. It's like these things really did sort of set you up to start from scratch again. And now you have that attitude. You developed it through all of these horrible personal experiences, all the trials and tribulations, all the evil that people try to do to you. That sort of set you up to be able to deal in a way that a lot of people can't. Don't be scared of failure. I think failure is awesome for you, and that's one of the reasons why, like I said, I like doing things that I suck at. You know, you could get real complacent if you're really good at something and you only do that thing all the time.
I agree.
We are saddled down by so many doubts and so much just mental that keeps people from action. I think first start with the people around you, right? Start telling them you love them, hug them, enhance the sense of community that you share with your friends and your loved ones. Do your best to sort of be the person who steps forward, starts it off, you know, like makes an action. Tell someone how much you care and appreciate them. I care about them and appreciate them when you maybe wouldn't have done that ordinarily. When someone comes up to you out of nowhere and goes, "Hey man, I just want to tell you, I really appreciate you. I know sometimes we don't talk to each other that much, but when I do, I really enjoy it. I love you. Give me a hug. I just want you to know."
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate that I have a lot of friends that do that kind of stuff. I have a real supportive group of friends. And if you don't, you long for that, and I think that's a big thing. You have to make mistakes. You've been there, you feel it, you understand what it is, and then you have that time to adjust. That's why losing in life is so important, whether it's getting dumped, getting fired, losing a game, loss. Those feelings where things didn't work out your way, that's important, because it lets you know this is the bad feeling that comes making a terrible book that gets rejected by every publisher, and then writing a really good one and people accept it and you're like, I got better. Yes. Like that
that's
feeling.
Interesting, yeah.
Those feelings of failure are really critical for your motivation.